Welcome to Mason and Fricker's Eldritch Stories. My name is Paul Fricker. Our tale today is a cautionary one. Sometimes curious noises may be heard around the home. It doesn't always pay to investigate. Some things are better left unknown. It was the sound calling us. We should have left it alone. We heard it after we'd cleared the top floor and most of the downstairs. The place had been left in a foul state by the previous tenants. The carpets were filthy, encrusted with mouldering food and dirt, and the furniture stunk of urine. It all had to go, so it was up to me and Ted to clear it out. Pull up the carpets, tear down the curtains, and carry it all to the dump. We'd spent all day on it, leaving us just enough time to put up the metal screens for the windows and doors. Empty houses always attract the attention of local youths with too much time on their hands. Ted noticed it first when he was out back, in the kitchen. He said someone was in the cellar, heard them moving about. It was possible, as we'd had the doors open all day, coming back and forth to the van. Someone could easily have slipped in. We'd had a quick look in the cellar earlier in the morning. Other than damp and a blown light bulb, there was nothing down there. But now, in the kitchen, we could hear a shuffling below. Ted opened the cellar door and peered down into the darkness. The shuffling stopped immediately, only to be replaced a moment later by the sound of someone's teeth chattering, like they were freezing or something. It had been a balmy summer's day, so it wasn't that cold. It sounded more like a child scared out of their wits, or, more likely, one of the local youths mucking around. We got our torches and made our way down. It was different this time. There was a heavy, earthy smell that hadn't been there before. It brought to mind dark moors and deep winter. When we got to the bottom of the stairs, the chattering stopped. Flicking our lights around, there was nothing, just darkness. Then we heard it again. Chitter chatter, quieter this time. Our torches raised to the sound, but no one was there. Something else was. In the corner of the cellar, our lights shone on a hole. We hadn't noticed it earlier. It looked old. The brickwork around it was jagged and broken in places, suggesting the cellar wall had once covered it, but time or something had gnawed through, revealing an opening that descended below the cellar floor. More like a tunnel than a hole, really. The chitter-chatter was coming from down there. Ted was convinced it was a local youth. He was getting angry and he'd had enough. "Right you, don't make me come in there," he called out. "Come out before we call the police." Nothing happened. The chitter-chatter continued, grating on my nerves. Red-faced, Ted murmured, "I'm going in." I watched as he crouched and entered the opening, his torch beam catching glistening beads of damp that dripped from the brickwork surrounding the hole. He entered and disappeared. Then my torch went out. Battery's dead. I reached in a pocket for my phone. As I did so, I could hear Ted's heavy breathing. Between his sighs and breaths, the awful chitter-chatter speeded up and grew louder. "There's something hanging," I heard Ted say, his voice weakening and trailing away. Then more clearly, "Oh my God!" I panicked. Moving toward the hole, I dropped the phone. As I turned and reached down to pick it up, I heard Ted scream as the chitter-chatter became a deafening gnawing of teeth filling the cellar and making me pause. Then silence. I tried to move but couldn't. I sensed movement. A sudden rush of air brought to mind things long buried. I froze. Images of the earth swallowing me came to mind, burying me down there where the dead things are. The chitter chatter rouses me. Blood drips into a pool of water below me. I'm hanging from the ceiling. My arms stretched, aching, tied above my head. Ted's torch lays on the floor, its light revealing a carpet of blood-soaked moss. Ted's blood. His glossy red muscle has been stripped from his bones. A jagged flint knife lies next to his corpse, bloody with its terrible work. Chitter chatter, chitter chatter. I look to the sound. I see the green teeth. Chitter chatter, chitter chatter, chitter chatter. Chitter Chatter was written by Mike Mason and read by Paul Fricker. Find out more at eldritchstories.com. And join us again, won't you, next time for our final story of Season 1. And remember, keep it eldritch.